Very good day, dear students. Today we are going to discuss two subunits in the first unit, which is about introduction to tourism destination. Today we will be discussing few topics, which includes introduction to tourism destination, the basics of the tourism destination, such as definition, differences we will know, and what are the types of destinations basically, such as natural and man-made destinations, how we can differentiate between them, and why these are important for tourism destinations. Then we will move on to various forms of destinations, what kind of different forms of destinations are there, what are the characteristics of tourism destinations through which we can define them, and how we can claim or how we can say that any destination is a primary destination and secondary destinations. So let us move on to the topic. We can say that when we see these pictures, you will easily understand that the first picture depicts the entire tourism destination or entire Kerala as a tourism destination, right? Second picture says that the entire state of Goa is a tourism destination. Whereas if we see the third picture, which is given by Ministry of Tourism, that is Incredible India campaign. During this campaign, the logo was launched. So when you see these three different types of picture, you will easily understand that in first two, they are trying to market or promote the entire tourism destinations which are there in the state of Kerala or in state of Goa. But when we talk about the third picture as Incredible India campaign, it depicts or it gives an image of tourism destinations of entire India, not any particular state. But through this picture, we are trying to market or promote, or we are giving an image of entire India as a tourism destination. Whereas if we see these two pictures, then we are saying about a particular very narrowed down or a very particular tourism destinations, which is Taj Mahal in Agra. And again, then we can say the other picture is giving a narrowed down description about a destination in foreign country. So these are the differences as we go from the different pictures, such as maybe in Taj in India or Eiffel Tower. We can say that we are representing through the pictures different types of destinations. So the destination, through picture itself, we can understand a destination may be a particular building, a particular structure which is man-made. It may be the entire state or entire country also. So likewise, the scale of tourism destination is there. Now let us understand the definition between tourist, tourism and destination or tourism destination. Then it will be very easy to move further. So usually we say tourist can be anyone who travels from one place to another place, leaving his own habitat where someone stays for during lifetime. If he is leaving that own place, that means his native place, village or city. And if he or she is moving to any other place for a longer duration of time, which should be at least of 24 hours and less than 1 year, and he or she should not be engaged in any kind of economic activity during this period. The period is more than 24 hours and less than 1 year. If these kind of activities are there, then we can say that someone is a tourist. So there are three things. One should be out of their everyday environment, that means their native place, village or city. Second, he should be staying more than 24 hours, that means at least spending one night or less than 1 year. And then he should not be involved in any kind of economic activity. Then we can say that someone is tourist. And whenever tourists are going to a different place or a different village place, or to see any architecture or to see any natural beauty, we can say that they are engaged in tourism activity. And to the places wherever they are going, to the buildings, to the architecture or to the natural scenery wherever they are visiting, we can claim that these are point of destination or point of attraction for the tourist. And when these entire activity is happening, we say that activity of tourism is taking place. So these destinations may be represented by a geographical area. It may be represented by entire state, a particular building, such as a famous mosque or a famous temple or a famous Gurudwara. For example, the Golden Temple in Punjab, we can take, or it may be an entire destination also. Entire mountain range may be a tourism destination. So we can define the tourism destination as it may be a natural or cultural value place. It may be having a historical significance. It may be related to natural or built beauty, offering leisure and amusement. Sometimes we find that at a destination there are some kind of amusement activity, some kind of games, some kind of fun activity will be offered by the destination promoters. So it may be related to a structure which has been built by a human being. It may be natural also. It may be defined by a particular geographical area also. It may be small or large depending upon the nature of the tourism destination. So it can also be defined as a place for tourists to visit and stay. Could be a country, state, region or city. So here we can see there is differentiation between the geographical level. It may be a small city, village. It may be a village in case of rural tourism. If we are going to a particular village to learn about the cultural setup of village and the agriculture, what they are doing. It may be a city, it may be a region, such as if we talk about Mysuru city in Karnataka, we say that entire Mysuru comes under a tourism destination because there are a lot of places to visit in the Mysuru, right? So it's a tourism destination. So entire city is a tourism destination. Further, we see, if we see the definitions given by the authors, they have defined that any geographical unit or region which can be visited by a tourist, it may be a self-contained center, a village or town, city, district, region, or sometimes an island, for example, Andaman Nicobar Islands, entire country or a continent can be termed as tourism destination. It depends how we are going to market and promote. So there may be different scale of the destinations, small, medium, large. For example, if we take example of MGM Park of Chennai, it's a self-contained center owned by a private party and it's a small unit, which is also a destination. Many people are going to visit it. In case of islands, we can take example of Andaman. Entire island has been marketed as a tourist place. It may be a village, it may be a part of the country also when we say that we are traveling southern India for tourism purposes. So we are covering different states in South India, visiting at different tourism destinations. Sometimes if international visitors are there or tourists are there, they may say that they are traveling to India as a tourism destination. So here entire country is being branded, marketed or promoted as a tourism destinations. So we see that there is a different scale in tourism destinations from smaller to largest part. Now we come to the basic definition, basic classification of tourism destinations. We say that there are two types of tourism destination basically. First, the natural tourism destination, where tourism destination encompasses of the natural beauty or natural structures which have been developed as a tourism point or where tourists are coming to enjoy the natural beauty. Examples may be the lakes, riverfronts, landforms, different types of waterfalls, gorges will be there, or different types of grass fields are there, caves, mountains, coastal features, coastal regions. So when we are marketing or promoting these kind of structures which are naturally built, we call them as natural tourism destination. Next, we have man-made tourism destinations. Sometimes we develop some kind of architecture building nearby the natural tourism destination because whenever a tourist is traveling to a particular destination, they may need some infrastructure to stay, they may need some accommodation unit, they may need some activities or extra amenities a part of the destination such as to stay, to take rest sometime, to stay overnight, or we may need some infrastructure to sell the souvenirs, to put up different types of shops, to put up public utility facilities, to put up ATMs or any other shops. So we need to develop the natural destination. We are going to build something. A part of that, sometimes we are building few things which later on become attraction for the tourists, such as whenever we see that whenever this Golden Temple in Punjab or maybe the Meenakshi Temple in Madurai, they would have made it solely for purpose of worshipping. But later on, it has become a tourist, a place of tourist attraction. people are moving to these places, going to these places, not only for worshipping, but for visiting but for witnessing the architecture also. So it has become now a tourism destination and it is man-made. So there is a wide apart class of man-made tourism destination, which may be attractions, destinations developed fully by the human being, and they were made for the tourist attraction purposes, such as theme parks if they are developing. Sometimes these are the religious structures. There are a lot of forts which have been built for the kings, but now it has become a place for tourism destination. Or for example, we take the Wall of China. We say Long Wall of China. That was made for a different purpose, but now it has become a tourist attraction. So likewise, different types of buildings are there. Or for example, we take Mumbai VT Terminal Station. That is an excellent representation or example of the Gothic art and the modern art. The kind of architecture is having with the architecture is there for the station, which is still functional. So many people go to see that kind of structure, what it is. So these are the man-made tourism destinations, and we have natural tourism destination. There are two basic classes in which we can define the tourism destination. Now we come to the various forms of destination. So whenever we visit a particular destination, it may have a particular or unique property, such as if we are going to visit natural destination, we may have a particular mountains, then we may call it as mountain destination. Sometimes it may have a grass field. We may call it by different names, savanna land or anything we can say. Sometimes natural destinations may have a place where we can do some kind of adventurous activities such as river rafting. So during that kind of, because of that kind of activity, we can give it a different name. So likewise, based upon the activity, based upon the property of the destination, feature of the destination, there may be different forms also. There may be different forms of destination based upon the region also. So I mean to say that classifying the destination can be classified on different bases. So first of all, there are three basic forms of tourism. If we are going to define it, classify it on the basis of geographical area. We call it first as domestic tourism, when local people or when the citizens of India are traveling inside the country, like somebody is traveling from Delhi to Bangalore, Delhi to Karnataka. Somebody is traveling from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu. So they are traveling interstate. That is called as domestic tourism. Then we have inbound tourism. That means when international travelers are coming to India, we call it inbound tourism. Then third class we have is outbound tourism. When citizens of India are traveling to different countries, we call it outbound tourism. So these are three basic forms of tourism based upon the geography of the area, geographical borders of the area. Second, if we try to define destinations or classify destinations based upon activity, these are adventure tourism destination where we can do adventure sports, sustainable tourism destination where all the practices related to tourism activity are being done in a sustainable way so that the natural resources will remain there for the future generations also. Then we have cultural tourism, under which we mostly focus upon cultural aspects of the particular place. Ecotourism, mostly going in line with the ecological structure or the nature. Medical tourism, when people are traveling from one destination, one geographical area to next geographical area for the purpose of medical facility. During that period also, they will stay in particular hotel or lodge. They will take food, and maybe after getting the medical treatment, they may go for visiting nearby places. Then religious or spiritual tourism, when we especially go for puja purposes or visiting any temples, mosque, or any other religious places, or we go to look for some spiritual practices. Then rural tourism, when we are visiting the villages for to get to know the cultural aspects, social aspects, or the agriculture of the rural area. So based upon this, there are a number of forms of destinations we can define. So these are the examples, most frequent examples which I have taken for this class. Next, we can see the characteristics of the tourism destination, that a particular tourism destination will have what kind of character. A particular tourism destination may be an event, may be a site. If it is a particular place, we call it a site. If it is a particular fair, it may be a musical concert, it may be a New Year program, then we call it as event. In that case also, we use the term tourism destination. It may be a particular site attraction, such as coastline of Kerala's or Khajuraho temple complex or Puri complex, Puri temples in Odisha or Simla Hills, or different kind of, if we take example of events, we can say boat race in Kerala is an event, or F1 race which is happening in Andhra Pradesh on Krishna River, that is an example of event. Then elephant march in Kerala. So these are the kind of examples of event which also create a tourism destination attracting a lot of tourists whenever it is happening. So tourism destination altogether will create an image, and it depends upon the perception of the tourist that what kind of image they are giving to a particular tourist destination. So every tourism destination will provide a integrated experience for the tourist. Why we are saying integrated experience? Because there are a lot of services present at a tourism destination. Somebody may be involved in watching the natural beauty, somebody may be involved in enjoying the event, somebody may be involved in activities, somebody may be involved in services like having good food or learning some kind of skills in rural areas, in rural tourism. So altogether we say that integrated experience will be given to the tourist. So it is also a wider sense, we can say in a wider sense that it's a tourist product that is competing with other tourism products. So at a particular destination, we find lot of attractions will be there. So in another way, they all are competing with each other. There may be food for the tourists, there may be some kind of training programs for the tourists, there may be souvenirs selling. So everybody or everyone who is the service provider at a destination, they want to serve more number of tourists. They want to earn more number of profit, more amount of profit. So in another way, they all are competing with each other. And a tourism destination where a lot of services are present, obviously the tourist will go to those kind of destinations more in number, wherever a lot of services are given and where there is healthy competition between the service providers, where service providers are charging genuine prices and giving good quality product or good quality services are being offered. That place or that tourism destination will attract more number of tourists around the year. Now we come to a slightly higher version of distinction of the tourism destination, which may be known as primary and secondary destination. So here we can understand the meaning of primary and secondary. Simply going by the meaning, we can understand primary means something which is very utmost, which is very much required. Secondary, which is not required much, but it can also be attained or it can also be engaged by the tourist. A tourist can also be engaged in that. So we can understand it in a way that primary destinations are those kind of tourism destination which attracts a traveler or tourist towards its beauty or natural beauty or man-made beauty. And whenever we talk about secondary destination, these are the destinations which are closely associated to primary destinations. For example, suppose if somebody has come to Karnataka and they are visiting Bangalore only, but they feel that since Mysuru is very nearby Bangalore, why don't we go to Mysuru also and visit Mysuru? So in that case, what happens? Somebody has come to visit only Bangalore, that is the primary destination for that person. But since Bangalore, Mysuru is very nearby, maybe only 4 hour distance, so they find some time and go to the Mysuru itself, Mysuru also. So for them, Mysuru becomes a secondary destination and Bangalore becomes a primary destination. Or for other example,